a podcast exploring the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, and all of the liminal space in between. I'm Claire. I am a shadow worker, a massage therapist. I work in the energetic realms, and I spend a lot of time trying to figure out all the things because I have a mind that, won't stop, I guess, until it understands something. So, that being said, today we are going to be dropping into a lot of different things. This is going to be a bit of an energy update. I've been sharing just a little bit here and there on Instagram. I'm really horrible at social media, and so that's just not really the space in which I spend a lot of time on. I've been sharing more in my newsletter, so if you're not subscribed to that, I will leave a link below for you to do so, because I have been sharing more about what's going on in the world, what energetics I'm sort of seeing like within the collective, what's been going on with me, my own journey, and like how it reflects, what's going on with everybody else too. So if you're part of the newsletter, then you already sort of know. If you're not, then I would love to welcome you into that space. So let's get into it. As I'm sure we all know, it's the final days of the year of the snake. We're moving into the year of the fire horse. A lot astrologically is going on. I'm not an astrologer. As I've said before, I kind of armchair astrology. I look into what's going on sometimes. I honestly more often notice and like connect all the dots retrospectively. But a lot is happening right now, and people are feeling it everywhere, whether they're like necessarily tuned into these specific dynamics or energetics or not. So many structures are falling, just breaking apart. Relationships, maybe like really even like long-term relationships, so friends, family, romantic partners, huge shifts in that. Relationships with how we see and kind of speak to, work with, interact with ourselves are changing. And in some ways, it feels very chaotic. It feels very disorienting. It feels scary, because it feels sort of like all of these structures, these frameworks, these habits or relationships or people or jobs, have been there for so long, and like suddenly they're changing in such a big way, or they're completely imploding. Simultaneously, however, what I see is just like these massive amounts of freedom. Like it's blowing my mind. It's totally blowing my mind, because in session, certain dynamics we will have been working on, within the Threshold membership, within, whatever dynamic in which people are working with me. And like all of a sudden, it's just like this massive mask, veil, whatever has dropped. And it's just like, oh, yeah, I see it now. I feel way better. This is out of my system. It's gone. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, wow, that was so fast. Wow. And it's a beautiful thing to see. I don't necessarily mean that it's easy, but it is freeing. And so I want to get into, I suppose, why this is happening on such an intense and like large scale. How to work through it, how to notice these shifts in yourself. I know oftentimes, we can have our nose to the grindstone and like we're just looking down, focus on whatever it is life has on our plates in this moment, that, when something shifts, we maybe don't notice it at all, or we just sort of see it as like a little upset in the regularly scheduled program when really it's massive. So yeah, let's get into it. So again, not an astrologer, but just paying attention to the astrology and really wanting to say this in a way that isn't preachy or like end timey revelation like, because I just don't subscribe to that line of thought at all. At least that like fear-based Armageddon thing. But for the first time in like a very long time, I'm not even going to try to say the amount of years, but a very, very, very long time. Saturn, let me double check myself, but I'm pretty sure Saturn, yes, and Neptune are meeting at 0 degrees Aries. So I personally see this as just like a massive restructuring of so much. And I talked about some of this last year. We're moving into the like springtime eclipse season, eclipse portal. And I often feel very, very like during the spring eclipse season, like disheveled. It's like, whoa, a lot just got shaken up. A lot just got rattled loose and out. And I'm kind of like in this like space of like, whoa, okay, like off of that train, kind of standing in the station, about to hop on another train, but like I don't know what the other train looks like. I don't know where the other train is going, but I know I have to get on it. All of this astrologically, the year of the snake, moving into this like new year of the fire horse. What's happening astrologically? Not to mention the fact that the eclipse happening on the 17th is like a ring of fire eclipse. That's intense. A lot to be said there, maybe in a minute. What I'm seeing in my clients, in the collective, what is playing out for me personally is not only a dismantling of really constrictive structures, relationships, internal dynamics in this life, but things that have been carried from lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes ago. I was talking to a client about this just the other day. They are going through a lot a lot of masks are coming off concerning people in their lives currently that have, they've spent an incarnation and or incarnations with in the past. And these relationships have been like deeply, deeply karmic, very constructive, very, in some ways, toxic, and it's been a big few weeks of just like all of this stuff coming up to the surface. I myself have been going through something somewhat similar with different family members, different structures, that it's really just being so clear to me that like this is a period of really, really intense karmic loop clearing, of chain breaking, of finally getting out of that cycle that you've been in for lifetimes, and it just dropping. The way that, I don't know, I explained it to my client, the way that I kind of see it is, if you've ever been stung by a jellyfish, you will know. You get stung, it hurts, the poison goes into your system, the toxins are in your system, your skin breaks out, and then it kind of settles down. A few weeks later, the rash breaks out again, and the spines holding all of, the toxin, the poison, start to purge up and out of your skin. And I don't know, you can take tape, you can take tweezers, whatever, pull them out. I've been stung by a jellyfish, hated it. But that's what I'm seeing. So like we have this like initial sting, right? Lifetimes ago. Here we are now, that gap in between where the poison has been in our system for however many lifetimes, and now it's resurfacing, all of the barbs, all of the spines, and we're plucking them out. They've been in our system for so long. As we pluck them out, like, of course it hurts. It was not comfortable when the little spines started coming back up. But like they've been in our system for so long, it's like we almost get used to them. Like it becomes like a almost a Stockholm syndrome of like, what am I going to do without this though? Like I'm so used to this being a part of me. Another example is when, if you go to the chiropractor, I have a really, really messed up neck, like deeply, deeply messed up. It's almost like inverted. It bends the wrong way. And when I go to the chiropractor and I get like one of those really, really intense adjustments where it's like, whoa, that's how my neck is supposed to feel. That's how my head is supposed to be on my shoulders. It like, maybe wasn't really even hurting before. I say that, in quotes, because it probably was hurting. We just get used to it. But then it's adjusted and things feel, for me, so uncomfortable because I was so used to something being literally just like so far out of alignment that all of my muscles restructured themselves in order to like hold it in that space because it had been in that space for so long. And now that like my bones are back where they're supposed to be, like they're in alignment, it is healthy, it is good, I feel discomfort because it's something that I am not used to. So as these people, situations, thought forms, energetics start to purge up out of our systems, just like the jellyfish spines do, as we start to, probably go back through some of the pain that we felt in this life, in past lives. As we start that process of removing it from our systems, it feels weird. It feels uncomfortable as we move from a space of being not in alignment to moving into a space of being in alignment. It feels very foreign. And that can be so difficult. We're wired to want comfort. We're wired to kind of gravitate towards what we're familiar with, what we're comfortable with what we know. The magical, beautiful thing about it, though, is that our soul does remember what being in alignment feels like. And so while it feels very, very, very uncomfortable at first, our soul remembers. And when you drop in, tap in, sink into your soul, connect with spirit, and just see it, feel it, allow that remembering, allow that oh, this is what I am. This is who I am. Free of all of the barbs, all of the spines, all of the poison, all of the misalignment, the unalignment. This is who I am. Giving yourself the time to be able to expand in that, because probably you've been incredibly constricted. You've probably been turned really, really in and keeping yourself small, even though, maybe you've been putting the effort in to not have that fear of being seen, not have that moment of oh, I'm going to make myself smaller, taking up more space. What is happening right now feels like it's going to the root of so many things. And there are a few things here that I've noticed happening that I'm going to share a personal experience to help explain, and to hopefully help, the navigation process of it. I've been seeing a lot, of clients that have very specifically incarnated into this life, into particular families in which they've been connected in some way with in past lives, right? And in these past lives, harm has been done. Not good things have happened. And the message that I'm getting from this is now is the time to write that, I've spoken to karma before a little bit, and I feel when you say when I say karma, when people hear karma, it's oh, you did something bad, so now you have to receive bad or blah blah blah. Very, very black and white idea of that. What I see happening specifically in this of people reincarnating, maybe it's not well, it isn't always, but not always like within the family, but within your friend circle and people that you know, these very karmic relationships are just like everywhere within people's lives. And for a lot of my clients, this karmic work is around them breaking out of those chains, those karmic chains, reclaiming their power and reclaiming their soul from these events of the past that went really sideways, where trauma occurred, where deep, like all the way down to the bottom of the soul, deep level wounding occurred. And by laying down boundaries, by like seeing certain people for who they really are, seeing the frequency that they truly carry, bringing that awareness there and choosing to remove yourself from it, that dissolves so many of the chains. And I can say this from a personal place. I've been moving through a lot of this on a deeply painful personal level, with a few people in my life as well. And so I'm going to kind of share a little bit, so that you can kind of understand like all of these different dynamics. All right, so with with this personal story, so there are people in my life that I have, had previous incarnations with. And in one incarnation, in particular, I ended up being persecuted, basically, by one of these people that, left a lot of deep wounding. I actually came into this life having dreams about it. It freaked out my family a lot, but like I had dreams that I was like being burned alive as a very, very small child. Like I was dreaming this, and for a long time I just like kind of convinced myself that like I was scared of going to hell or something, growing up in a Southern Baptist church. As I started to kind of like come more online or like realize that I came into this life very much like awake, if you will, I realized like, oh, okay, like that wasn't a nightmare, triggered by something at church. Like that was a very, very specific dream, because they were very specific dreams, that I was being chased and like hunted by this group of religious people, and then burned at the stake. So I even though like this is the world that I live in, this is the world that I work in, this is the work that I do, saying it out loud sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck? Anyway, I went through this whole process, like a lot of past life work. I kept seeing like two particular faces. And so I started doing research like these two particular faces reminded me of people in my life very specifically. So I started doing research around like when, this time that I like kept going back to like work on and heal, and it just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. Started doing research on it. It was during the burning times, the like 1600s in Germany. I come upon this portrait of this man, and I literally almost threw up. It was the man that I was seeing during my past life work. And so that was just like a completely really, really, really weird moment of, I suppose, like, okay, this is real. I'm not just making all of this up, but because like all of the details of what I was seeing, I ended up finding, in spaces that I hadn't like researched before. Anyway, so I'm doing all of this work, right, to like clear and heal all of this, to like get out of that loop, that cycle, to get these like really negative beliefs out that like I know weren't mine, but like, these implanted beliefs, a lot of self-hatred, a lot. And I just like, I would like make some progress, but like I could just still feel this like, glass wall in front of me of like, there's still something there. And it finally hit me of like, okay, like this work has to be done in real time. Like I recognize the energetic signature in this past life work with these people, as well as people in my life right now. And there must be a reason for this. The same dynamics have been looping and playing out throughout my life that were playing out in this previous incarnation with these same people. And I was just like, oh my God, like I threw a fit. I had a meltdown because all of my life I've been trying to heal this like rift with these people in my life. And I've like just gotten nowhere because I've been just like hiding who I am and living in fear and never standing up for myself, but just going along and like swallowing it and swallowing it and swallowing all of this stuff that, has been going on with these individuals. And simultaneously trying to work through this past life trauma, and just getting nowhere, because it's like you have all of these moving pieces, but I'm just sort of there in the middle, frozen, just like terrified. And when it finally hit me that the way out, like, I feel safe if they realize, what all has occurred, and they apologize and they change. Then I feel safe to, blossom or step into my power, be more whatever. But that's never going to happen. Like the karmic lesson here is to stand up for myself. I have to be the one that makes that choice, that like moves that chess piece. No one else is going to move it for me. Oh, and yeah, I threw a fit. I threw an absolute fit. I was so mad. I was laying in bed. I was talking to my fiance. I was like, why would my soul choose this? I don't want to do this. I don't want to blow all of this up. I hate it. Like, I just hate it. I'm not strong enough to do it. I'm not strong enough to stand up for myself. I'm not strong enough to like break this cycle. My soul had very high expectations of itself when it came to earth. Just this whole absolute fit that I threw. And so I sat with this information for months. Like my 31 years of trying to, like, I guess not that long, but let's say 25 years of trying to heal this relationship, the past several years of trying to work through and heal through this past incarnation. And like, here I am. The key to clearing this, to ending the cycle, to moving forward and stepping into what I like feel I'm being like tugged towards, but like can't push through it. That key has been laid right in front of me. And I'm just like, well, fuck. I don't want to do it though. Like, I don't want to blow things up. I don't like blowing things up. I don't like it. And so I spent a lot of time processing this. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what could be done. You know, I've already spent years working on this, like in an energetic, etheric space. And like, yes, a lot of progress has been made. So I drop into this very deep mind journey. And immediately, I'm on this bridge, this like cosmic bridge. I look behind me and it's like I have walked out of this like cosmic womb space. And the bridge is like coming out of this womb. And it's going across this just like vast void into this other womb. I don't know if I'd necessarily call it that, but it was gross. And I just stood there in the middle of this bridge and I was like, why am I here? And it was just so clear, like you have to go into that thing. You have to go into that dark, terrifying, nasty thing. And like get yourself out of it. And it's just like, well, fuck, okay. So long story long, I go on this journey into this deep, disgusting, like truly the most just vile, energetic space I have ever been in. Like, I felt hollowed out descending into that space. And that space, as soon as I walked in, it was just like, oh, this is the demiurge. I know I've talked about the demiurge before. I plan on going into a deeper dive on that topic soon. So I walked into this space. I am moving through so much of it. Like, I'm climbing through the uterus, I'm climbing through the intestines, I'm climbing through the lungs and the throat, and just I truly, yeah, ew. Also, like, not sharing any of that energy to you, whoever's listening to this. Gross. Anyway, I find like a large chunk of my soul in that space. I find pieces of other people in that space, and I'm like doing all this work to like usher them out back like to the middle of the bridge, like kind of connecting these two etheric spaces. And finally, like I get everybody. Yeah, I'm like going in to get and like I just have to reiterate, this was completely bizarre to me. I did not expect this. I thought I was going in like just for myself, but I guess in a way this really opened up my eyes and doors for me to understand things at a deeper level. So I get all these people out of the demiurge, bring them across this bridge, right? Back to this like cosmic womb. And I'm like, okay, who, like, what is this space? And it was like, you are like re-entering the womb of Sophia, like this womb of wisdom. And like, so that, I mean, I just started sobbing. Yeah, really, really impactful that moment was. Go through this whole process in that space. These like parts and pieces, soul fragments, energy fragments of people that I like got out of the demiurge space, like they all went back to the people they belong to, and I'm just like standing on the ledge of this thing, like watching the bridge between like Sophia and the demiurge just start to disintegrate, and like it's starting to like fall down, you know, into this void. And I see the faces of these people in my life that, you know, I've had previous incarnations with. There's been so much wounding. I've been trying to heal it. I've also been keeping myself so small throughout this whole process. And like, they're people that I love deeply, like despite all of the pain and disagreement and harm that has come up over the years. Like, I love them deeply, which is just, you know, another layer of struggle added onto this whole situation. And I'm just standing there and I see their faces as they're like descending into this abyss, like inside of the demiurge. And I just like, I lose it. I like start to run and jump after them to try to save them. Like, hello, white saviorism conditioning for one. But I, like, someone grabs me and I turn around and like, it was Jesus. It was Yeshua. And I've not spoken much to my relationship with Yeshua. And I don't think now is the time. I'm already getting into like a lot as it is. So I'll save that for another day. But he just like stood there with me, like, and he was just like, Claire, like, you can't save everyone. You can't make everybody see it. Like, they have to see it and experience it for themselves. They have to find and return to wisdom themselves. And I just like, so so much grief just like completely blanketed me in that moment. Like I could feel it in every cell of my body. And I don't know, he just kept talking to me. He's like, you are going to remain trapped in this loop, in this cycle, if you keep trying to save them. Like, you have to let them go. And yeah, I was like doubled over sobbing, like on my bed, by the end of this thing. So I come out of it, out of this deep meditative experience, and I'm talking to my fiance, and he's just like, yeah, like you can't make them see anything. You can't make them do anything. But like something has to be done, and it's clear that you have to do it. Like you have to choose whether you're going to remain in this cycle, trapped in this loop, or you're going to live freely. So this is where I get to the point of this story. The reason for this story, a lot energetically is happening right now. Some things, however, need to take place on a very physical, real, face-to-face level. And doing the energetic work, doing the inner work beforehand, I highly, highly, highly recommend, because these situations, where you're tangled with people that you've been tangled with for lifetime after lifetime, they are incredibly, incredibly charged. And having a clearer perspective and understanding of all the different dynamics, all of the different components, is incredibly helpful and supportive as you're moving through on the 3D level, kind of extricating yourself from that chaotic, traumatic, painful, negative loop. So fast forward a few days after that experience, things move into the physical, things move into the 3D, into the quote real life, where I finally, after decades, stand up for myself and stand in truth. And I definitely came a bit unhinged, which I am not proud of, for a moment, because it's just so much. I share a bit more in the newsletter than I'm going to share here, just for privacy reasons. But holy fuck, it's been heavy. But then me and these people, we circle back, we have a calm conversation where, again, it's just a very hard boundary is set of, this is who I am. I'm not apologizing. I'm not silencing myself. And I'm also not accepting this behavior anywhere near me anymore. That's it. A very important piece to this that I forgot to say is that it isn't just these deeply, deeply karmic situations that we're getting out of. I see on a collective level, so many people are doing what I did, retrieving pieces of their soul and unplugging from this demiurgic energy, this nasty, nasty cycle. And so, yes, like I said, I will be doing a deeper dive into all of that. It's probably going to be a long series. But yeah, I find it to be very important information. And it, as I said when I was telling the story, like, I didn't think that's what was going to go down. I didn't expect to be sort of ushering other people out of this really gross energetic space, but it it dawned on me that, like, this is a big thing that's happening, on a very large scale, of just like realizing that, you know, that religions, the Abrahamic religions, like so many different religions, not just Christianity, but our political systems, well, just so many, everything, has been in this demiurgic, energetic system. And so many people are like opening their eyes and seeing that, like, maybe not with those words exactly, but like they're seeing this like toxic, vile loop of energy that, yeah, has been, keeping so many people trapped and like in these states of deep suffering. So yeah, stay tuned for that, because it's gonna it's gonna be a deep dive. So the expansiveness that I felt inside of myself, around me, everywhere, by finally just seeing the loop, choosing to step out of it and step into alignment with my soul, with spirit. I don't know how to describe it. I know the people that I'm working with right now that are going through processes similar to this, they understand. And I'm like, I'm so proud of them, because it's not easy. It is scary. And if you are going through this, like, I am so proud of you. I'm here to support you however I can, because it is not easy. But holy shit, it is it just the biggest moment of like, wow, I'm finally breathing air again. I'm no longer trying to filter water through my lungs. Whew. So, with all of that being said, I would really love to hear from you what your experience the past like few months has been, as we move through this astrology, as we move through this energetic shift, as things maybe have been coming up. Yeah, I would really love to just hear and witness you in all that's happening in your life, in all the changes that are occurring, and yeah, support you in any way that I can, whether that's just a conversation, whether you want to drop all the way into like the Threshold Mentorship or the Shadow Maven membership, like whatever it is, I want to be there to cheer you on. Like, or just know, even from here, like we don't have to be in contact, but know from my heart of hearts, like I see you and I support you and I know that you can do it. On the other side of it, and that's not to say like everything's settled, everything is great. There's still a lot to figure out, like in like the 3D realm of it, but on the other side of it, truly, it's like I can actually breathe again. And holy shit, it's incredible. It's incredible. Huh. So pay attention over the next week or so as we move closer to the 17th, as we move closer to the 20th, and all of these lunar and solar and astrological events. And remember to honor yourself. Now is the time. I guess I can't answer the question as to why, other than maybe it's just the astrology. I don't know. This just massive reset, this 0 point rebalancing of the scales or something, reconstruction. But now's the time. And while it does feel chaotic, it's also just deeply beautiful. The amount of peace and ease and just spaciousness is unreal, especially in a time of such unrest, on the world stage and just everywhere else that trickles into. So take some time to tap into your soul and to tap into the earth. Oh my gosh, I talk to the earth every day. I thank the earth every day. The earth is our biggest ally, truly. Our connection to our humanity, our connection to nature, to the earth is so deeply important. So don't forget that. I know it's become a bit of a meme, but touch grass and drink water and remember that you're connected to that. Yeah. I think that's all for stories and whatever for today. A few updates. Shadow Maven is live. I am so grateful for this container. I cannot wait to welcome you into it. I will leave the link to it below, but the first group clearing and healing session is going to be on the 17th on the eclipse. And it's going to really be focused on clearing out all of these agreements, karmic loops, entanglements, cords, and just shit that we've been carrying for lifetimes that are finally at the surface, just those jellyfish spines that are just purging up and out, so that you can I don't even want to say step into this new energy, because it's not new. It's just finally your energy without all of the distortion. But so that you can settle back into your own expansiveness and creativity and life, that life force, with ease and support, and knowing that you're held. So I hope to see you there. If you're part of Shadow Maven, you can just join that. You'll have access to the replay library of all of those monthly meetings. This is the first one, where you'll also have access to the rest of the Shadow Maven library, the teachings, meditations, and healings. If you're not ready to join Shadow Maven yet, you can also just drop in to the group clearing. And I will leave all of that linked below. If you are interested into dropping into a deeper one-on-one container, the Threshold Membership is the space to do that. And I am moving into a space where I'll have more availability and openings for more clients, in that realm. So I'll leave everything linked. Don't forget to like and share and rate, subscribe, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. I know I looped all around, but a lot's happening. A lot of different dynamics are at play. So be gentle And I hope you have a good day or night wherever you may be. Until next time, bye for now.